Filmed in beautiful downtown Gresham before a live studio audience of 8 whole people. A big round of applause for Stand Up for Geeks, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, everybody. Today's theme is morals. So I decided, why not? Let's tell a story, see if you can figure out what the moral to it is. I'm not really sure. It's a true story. It happened. Most of my stories that are interesting anyway start off like this. I'm walking, and I'm slightly drunk. It's fun. Right? I'm going down Hawthorne. I've hit a couple of bars already, but I see another one coming up. Looks fancy, right? Extra fancy. I walk in there. It is indeed fancy. Across the bar, there aren't little individual cups of peanuts and pretzels and stuff like that. They have roasted almonds. Ah, fancy. Right? And this isn't a regular bar event. This is a corporate party, I can tell, because there's 30 people just milling around doing their best to not talk to each other, but also not leave. So it's fun. They take advantage of this opportunity. I find one guy all by himself, completely secluded, and I just start grilling him, just random weird questions, you know? Not that weird in the beginning, you know? I just start off with like second-tier questions, like you'd already gone further on to the conversation, you know? Like just immediately right off the bat, like, oh, really? And then what did she say? And to his credit, he just kept rolling with it. He was just going along with it. I just keep getting the questions a little bit weirder, a little bit stranger, chomping down on the almonds the whole time. He seems to be fixated on that for some reason, so I make a real demonstration of it, just start getting weirder and weirder with my questions, like I'm interviewing him like I'm Decker and he's a replicant or something, you know, like, hi, you wake up in the middle of the night and find your grandfather peeing into your rain boot. He offers you a sip. You start to drink, but next thing you know, you're gulping. You're guzzling it. Why are you guzzling your grandpa's pee from a rain boot? He still seems to be more concerned about the almonds, though. And it's very weird, right? So I was bored with this gentleman. I go to wrap up for the evening, just chomping away. I call over the bartender. I'm like, hey, how much do I owe you if I can get out of here? So the thing is the drink special was $2.50. So that worked out well for me because I had $6 in my pocket. So I ordered 2, and I had $1 for a tip. Except for the problem came when I asked the bartender, how much do I owe you? He says, I don't really know, because you got the 2 drinks, but then you also ate like 3 plates of this guy's appetizer. Which left me the very awkward question of looking him dead in the eye and being like, hey, weird question here. I know I've been asking you a bunch, but just one quick follow-up question. Did I eat your nuts? Did you not say anything to me? Why wouldn't you say anything? And he's like, well, you know, I just figured either one of 2 things were happening. Either, 1, you're a little drunk. You don't know what's going on. You don't mean anything by it. So I'll just let you. Or the other thing is you're the most badass man on earth. And since I only had $6 in my pocket, I said, let's go with B, and slapped the 6 on the counter and wandered on it. All right, you guys ready for the first panelist this evening? Very funny man. He's one of the co-hosts of Wait, What? The comedy quiz show. Big round of applause for the very funny man, Daniel Dagris, ladies and gentlemen. Come on down, Daniel. It'll be hilarious.
My first lesson in morality, I think, was it was that old saying, if all your friends jumped off a bridge, would you jump too? All my friends? Oh, all of them. Oh. Is it something I did? Like, that's a lot of people that do not know each other. And they're all dead now? Oh. Maybe. Could you imagine making all new friends again? Oh. I once dated this girl who had dated 2 guys who each died while dating her. That's 2 strikes right there. I'm not proud of it, but I want to live. Morality? I think, like sex and death, we have a lot of morals around. For death, man, wherever you fall on capital punishment, we all agree that people on death row have a certain debt to society they're paying off. And I think a last meals filter on Yelp would be a great move. Because, like, who sat around thinking more about what they want to eat next? Maybe last. I don't know. I think they can start paying off that debt, just like with dinner recommendations, little by little. And if it takes off, man, it'd be great. Just, honey, we got to go here. They say it's to die for. Well said. It's good to eat. If restaurants decide to get in on it, it's just like, come on down and try John Wayne Gacy's favorite pastries. It's a killer baguette. Yeah, or at least like when Willamette Week does their poll for the best food in town. Like, these people on death row should be superdelegates. Last thing. So as far as sex, did you know that 70% of your sperm, well, men, I guess, but 70% of your sperm is there just to fight other guys' sperm? Like, that's a lot. Like, that's definitely evolution reminding us that monogamy is difficult. But, wow, like, how jealous do you gotta be if only 30% of your sperm is trying to knock up your girlfriend, but 70% is like throwing open closet doors and looking under beds like, where the fuck is he? All right, thanks, everybody.
Keep it going for Daniel Dagris, ladies and gentlemen. Next comedian coming up the stage is a Portland institution. Big round of applause for the very funny man. Keep it going for Ben Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Ben.
Oh, thank you. Morality, it's hard, you know? It's hard to figure out what the right thing to do is. Sometimes you think you're doing the right thing, and it blows up in your face, like giving a toddler a Roman candle, or voting Republican, something like that. I think a good example is the Batman trying to do something good, and he just sucks at it. Because he could have been great, you know, if he'd listened to Alfred. Because after he gets done with his training, gets back to Gotham, Alfred's like, Bruce, it's great that you're back, man. I don't know if you've looked around, but Gotham sucks right now. I'm thinking we invest in some infrastructure. Maybe replace that 1930s style asylum that's pumping out super criminals. Try to get ahead of this problem. And Bruce just like, fuck that, Alfred. I got a better idea. You don't know this yet, but I recently trained as a ninja. I'm thinking we invest that money in a bunch of sweet-ass gadgets. I'm going to dress up like a bat and just start punching the city till it's nice. And then he's not even good at that. Every criminal he locks up gets out in 2 months. You can't keep Mr. Freeze in lockup. His weakness is room temperature. He's got the same weakness as egg salad. You can't find a lock-in freezer for that guy? Here's an idea. Don't store his suit right next to his cell. That can't be regulation. Like, oh, yeah, we got the freeze guy with the freeze weapons. Oh, yeah, that's great. We should inspect those. Are they in lockup? Yeah, okay, well, where's the stuff? Oh, we put it right next to him. Why? Did you even protect it? Yeah, we put a bike lock on it. Should be fine. He's just, the Batman's, he's just a rich asshole obsessed with making his city great again, and he puts his name on everything. Who does that sound like? If it wasn't for the Joker and his goons, he'd be out there bat deporting Muslims in like a weekend. All right, thank you guys.
Keep it going for Ben Rose, ladies and gentlemen. Clap. I'm forcing you at home, even though we can't even hear you. You should clap. All right, the next comedian coming up the stage, very funny man. He's written several of our panelist questions, and he's hilarious. So we thought we should have him come down and prove it on an individual basis. Big round of applause for your hometown hero. Big round of applause for Robert Gresham, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Gresham, come on down.
No pressure there, right? So yeah, my name is Rob. I'm a dad. Got 3 kids, shockingly. And my kids come from 2 different moms, so already I've had way more sex than I ever thought I'd have. I mean, I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. I never thought I'd have sex in real life, let alone 3 times. That's right, 3 kids, 2 toddlers and a teenager. My 2-year-old, she's super cute. She loves to dance and sing to her dolls. It's adorable. She's going to make a great teen mom. My 4-year-old, he's autistic, nonverbal, and violent. And he's always naked. So he's my favorite. Now, raising an autistic child's not as easy as it sounds. Right now, his favorite things are consecutive scalding showers and pinching people's nipples. It's like living with a wet mime high on ecstasy. And going to restaurants with him is always an adventure. Instead of eating, he likes to climb on tables and throw forks at old people. And he'll shriek like a howler monkey the entire time. So right now, we're only welcome to eat at Denny's. Been trying to figure out ways I can guard his mom and I from his wandering frat boy hands. Just thinking about buying one of those umpire vests, or like a knight's breastplate, or better yet, just a sweatshirt covered front to back in nipples. They sell those in Gresham, right? And that shower situation's getting out of control. 9 times out of 10, when I go in there to use it, all the hot water's gone. And the 10th time, there's poop in there. We're covering our perfectly lined up toothbrushes. The other day, his mom caught him peeing in the milk jug. And thank God she did, too, because if he'd have put it back in the fridge, I'm the only one that drinks milk in the house. I never would have found out until I had a really bad bowl of Apple Jacks. Those mauled by pit bulls a few years ago, they tore off my ear, and they ripped up my feet. But I don't blame them. I was wearing that Chocolate Axe body spray. Yeah, it made me irresistibly delicious.
Let's keep it going for Robert Gresham, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause for Robert. Next comedian you can see all over the Pacific Northwest. You can see him in Seattle next week. Big round of applause for a very funny man, Nick Puente, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it going for Nick.
Oh, okay. Here we go, guys. Like, so you're never supposed to come between a mama bear and her cubs. But how else am I supposed to get matching bearskin rugs for my foyer? I just don't. I mean, come on. If you can think of a better idea, I'm all ears. But until then, I got to kill them all. Look, the one time I actually tried to get close with my family was when I literally drove to my grandma's house to give her a birthday present. But when I got there, it turned out she had died 8 months earlier. So, I just wrote belated on it and gave her to her anyway. Like, she's cool, or was. Like, she gets it. It's fine. The real reason I'm here tonight is to do this, sort of out myself a little bit. I'm kind of nervous about it. But so I had a dream a couple nights ago where a guy with a 1930s gangster's accent told me to do a bunch of terrible, horrible things. And then when I woke up the next morning, I had to come to terms with the realization that had that happened in real life, I still would have done them all, because he had a 30s gangster's accent, and that's fucking irresistible. Do you understand? Like, I'm like a moth to a flame with it. I mean, I've never really had to test myself against it in real life, but I'm 99% sure if I bumped into a dude with a 30s gangster accent, I would follow him to hell. You understand? Like if I just bumped into him, like, oh, and he was like, hey, Wormy, watch it. I'd be like, oh, sorry, boss. I didn't know you was there. Hey, you look like you'd be a good sidekick. You want to help me take over the underworld? I'd be like, yeah, boss, let's do it. They say he's the light bringer. Well, let's see how much light he brings when he knocks his lights out, huh? Yeah, boss, you're the best. All right, that's my time. Thank you. Good night.
Keep it going for Nick Puente, see? Clap it up, you mugs. All right, you guys, that was great. All right, you guys ready for your final panelist this evening? Very funny man. He's the repeat panelist we have on the evening. He's the host of the very funny show, Laugh Till You Die. Big round of applause for a funny man, Alex Avery, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it going for Alex.
Well, they had to have somebody bomb on this show, so thank you for your sacrifice, Nick Puente. College is great because it exposes you to so many different cultures, especially rape culture. All dogs can smell drugs. It's just the majority aren't fucking snitches. Thanks. All of my trust issues are because of my father. Like, whenever I'd want to play chess, he'd always end up cheating on my mom. And my mother used to ask me, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you jump with them? Please? Or she'd try to scare me. She'd, like, punish me. She'd be like, just wait until your father gets home. Just wait until your father gets home, trying to scare me, knowing full well he wasn't coming back. I don't know. They say over time we turn into our parents, so yeah, I don't want kids either. They say you shouldn't bring a knife to a gunfight, but I found the odds are really in your favor when you bring a knife to a pillow fight. Really ruined my sister's slumber party. Last night, I learned there's a slight but significant difference between pillow talk and muffled screaming. I just found out you can become a sex offender just for public urination. That would have been a lot easier.
Big round of applause for Alex Avery, ladies and gentlemen. If he wasn't being weird, he wouldn't be being himself. Alex Avery. All right, we'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Today's topic is morals. So if you're just tuning in, that's what it is. Where have you been? So let's see. We guys want to chat? Just to set the tone here, let's start off by asking our first question. D&D or other role-playing games, they have a specific stat just for your morality, for lack of a better term. They have your alignment. So if you're familiar with D&D or other games that have alignment, what would your alignment be? And what's your reasoning for it? And what's a good role model in that alignment? You know what I'm talking about, Alex?
I don't know. I say chaotic good, but I'm probably more chaotic neutral.
But humans definitely can switch.
Yeah,
right?
definitely switches around. But I like to try to push towards that because at least I'm trying to be morally a good person, even if it's by morals that I choose to follow.
So is chaotic like an element that you achieve, or is it like you're going for, or is it just natural disposition?
I just don't fucking want to listen to everybody else's dumbass rules.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me. I mean,
Rebel.
Yeah, dude.
It's definitely unlawful. Yeah.
So is anybody over here more of a neutral good
Yeah, I
or
don't
a
think
lawful
I'm fun
good?
enough for chaotic. Like,
Yeah.
I'm probably more of a neutral, like neutral good, maybe more neutral.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Is there?
You're like
try to be good.
you're when you
I
put
like
your car
putting too
right
much
into
effort out.
neutral. Like it's like
Yeah.
I'm driving, you're right in neutral.
Is there,
So it's just this
Robert,
is rolling
there-
wherever the hill is.
Is there a D&D code for just like a chill dude?
Yeah,
Just
like there's a bunch of
Yeah.
examples that D&D has tried to
Yeah.
use for like the example, what would be a chaotic good character or a neutral good character.
Right.
Like Mother Teresa was
Oh, yeah.
described as neutral good. Neutral good is kind of like pure goodness. It's like you're not chaotic, you're not lawful, but you're only concerned with good.
I
Yeah,
just
I'm
want to
definitely more
feed
It's the same thing
the
we have
poor
with
because
evil
they're
and neutral
hungry.
evil. You only care about yourself.
don't know if
So like a lawful good
saints.
then maybe would be considered a lesser good because their motivation to be good is by the law.
Yeah, they're by the book.
Yeah, you'd have like
right?
you'd have the law as a guide,
Right.
And then but you'd also be driven by your own inherent goodness.
Well, and sometimes
like
that's to a
you wouldn't
fault,
want to
though.
be
Yeah.
like harmful to other people.
Right.
A lot of times I would think activists that work within the law, that would be my description of a lawful good character. Someone's like, oh, I'm going to use the law to
probably
make some
that.
change for good, for help.
Probably
Oh,
the
the
lawful
best
good.
example?
Yeah. See, like, so it's boring. I'm the sample subject here, but like, I think I'm the lawful good because like I agonize if I do something wrong.
Right.
It follows me. I apologize for things that people have forgotten, like
Right.
immediately forgotten. And I think Superman is that, and I hate it because like MySpace quizzes always gave me Superman as the character. And well, I guess Spider-Man would be your chaotic good then, right? If you have to do these?
Spider-Man's like a
example.
neutral.
Yeah?
good,
He's
I
neutral?
thought.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's another when you don't work within the law. Kind of like
Right.
when you do your own thing, you don't want the rules. Like,
Okay, what about Logan? What about
Logan's
Wolverine?
like more
Is he-
chaotic.
he's definitely chaotic,
Yeah,
good.
more,
Yeah.
more
chaotic
chaotic.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, Dirty Harry was described as chaotic, and
Yeah.
that cat's blasted fools all the time. So.
So I mean, because Batman doesn't fall. I don't think he does fall into that
the guy
category
works
because he
around.
doesn't kill people, though. I think chaotic good kind of, or
That's where that goodness part.
Do
maybe-
you know
yeah.
why he came with the whole thing with not killing people?
Originally, depending on like history or like the
Yeah.
canon wise.
I'm talking
what's
about
our out of
I'm talking about
comics
the
comic
EC
book
comic codes.
Yeah,
affecting
it
from
was
the-
because of the Comics Code Authority. He
Right.
needed to not be violent. They didn't want to tone down violence. They thought comic books were making. I want to think his name was Wortham.
Yeah.
Was the guy. He thought comic books were creating antisocial deviance and stuff like that. So comics had to take all this stuff out of them. The Joker disappeared for the entire time that the Comics Code Authority was out.
Right, yeah, because the originally
That's where the Riddler comes from. He is the watered down Joker.
So it's kind of interesting. Originally, the Batman was Batman's a guy who carries around lots
he
of
had guns.
right? And
Yeah,
so
first
the
issue
reason,
blasting.
the reason why they came up with the idea of Batman was Zorro was making so much money. They just said, hey, why don't you just come up with another rich white guy who's standing up for poor people, but instead of giving him a sword, give him a gun. And that was his entire character.
like
They wanted
more
to
about Punisher.
They also had the
Wow.
polar opposite of
Okay.
Superman, because Superman
Right.
in Action Comics was selling really well, so they wanted to flip it. Like, all right, well, what's Superman? Like you were describing, he's
Yeah,
this
he's the
body of
last- yeah,
super goodness,
exactly.
super
He's-
powerful.
yeah.
Well, what's the opposite of that? Like,
Right, and he
a
was
guy that
actually
just
kind
has
of a-
some money, has to be smart. He's not really that strong. He has to be technically.
Well, that was all Bill Finger, not
yeah, Bill Finger is the main creator for all of Batman stuff.
Well, yeah, because they always give the credit to Bob Kane, but Bob Kane was the guy that came to and said, "Hey, steal Zorro," and he came up. He had a red domino mask. He had actual wings. He had
He looked a little
blonde
different.
hair.
Oh, wow.
And then they
yeah,
said,
his costume was kind of ridiculous.
yeah, and then they gave Bill Finger the thing. They said, "Okay, he can't have a gun. Figure out what to do." His whole character is based around a gun. What do we do? And he goes, "Okay, I'm going to go the exact opposite direction." His whole character is based around the fact that he doesn't use a
Yeah,
gun.
it was like you're
And
calling
then
him
he's a
Batman. Why don't you make him look
detective.
like a bat? Like it was his first like duh moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so
Yeah,
they
Bill
gave him a big
Finger, at least he's
cowl
getting the
and
credit
a
now that he
cape and-
deserves.
yeah, so that's great. So people always talk about like, oh, these comic books should stay pure to what they originally were, and I'm like, really? Do you want to see like Batman in all red, like just
Well,
punching
even in the mid
people in the
'70s,
way?
when there was some political pushes against landmines in Sarajevo,
Yeah.
there were comics that came out called Death of the Innocents, and they were Batman, and he would go to Sarajevo to help try to get some rid of these landmines. And he's got like 30-06 in the comic, and he's shooting,
Right.
for lack of a better word, like terrorists or insurgents or whatnot, or he's supposed to be fighting over there in Sarajevo. Rebels, I'm not completely sure. But in
Wouldn't
the
they
end,
turn
the
into
kid he's
like,
trying to save still gets blown up from a landmine.
Didn't they turn him into like I thought it was supposed to be just like the world's best detective or something.
That was part of it.
But
right, and then he
when
like
they turned
slowly
into a
turned an
ninja.
Iron Man. Ninja.
Yeah, it's like depending on which comic you're following. In this book, he was like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
one,
depending
he's,
on the
like you said,
title,
he's the
they
ninja.
kinda
In this
focus on
one, it's
different
It's,
James
it's like it
Bond.
moved with like the
You know?
class distinction of the wealthier get it, because in the 50s it was something about how the bottom guy only made like 10 times more than the top guy only made 10 times more than the bottom guy in a company.
Right.
Now it's like 200 times.
200 times.
So he's got to like Batman's got to grow with that. So now
Right.
he's got tanks and he's got all these, he has a
Right.
rocket ship and stuff.
I
so.
guess, yeah. I kind of wish that if they were going to totally revamp Batman, if they would just place it like when he first came out, like put Batman in like the 1950s, and then his technology would be like incredible. It just couldn't be like even vaguely close to our technology now. I have a cell phone. Yeah, exactly. Like
I can take a picture remotely.
your Dick Tracy watch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all.
That was Dick
Well, it's
Tracy.
like the animated series was kind of like that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it looks like it's the
Yeah,
40s, 50s, but it's
Or even
Yeah,
like
it's
the
that
new
art
Gotham
deco.
series, the way people dress, the way they talk, the way. But then sometimes you'll see cars or cell phones, and you're
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh, it is modern day, but it's not. And I just wish they would.
It's
just,
like the city itself hasn't really aged,
Yeah.
but
Right.
still everything is moving forward in time around it, which I
think-
feel like that would be really cool.
I think they should go just full on caveman Batman.
oh, yeah, go the other direction.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they have a lot of.
got a wheel.
they have a lot of
It's the Bat Wheel.
he like goes
He's been
along
a
with the
pirate.
stick.
He's
He's
fought
like-
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Don't try to run downhill from this guy.
His next movie is he's fighting Jack the Ripper in the next animated movie that's coming out soon.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, all right. So
Wait, so is Jack the Ripper time traveling to him, or is
No,
it
it's just
No,
Batman in
going
different time
back.
periods. So it'll
Oh,
be the
okay.
90s.
It's kinda like a
Victorian
what if
London. Yeah, they call it Elseworlds for.
Nice. So, Robert, you had a question that went along with alignment. It was like an alignment breaker question that was.
Yeah,
like,
it's one of the most, I guess, the oldest argument when it came to alignments, because alignment, after we determined our cool little, I want to be nice, or I don't believe in the law, it still had a game mechanic. It still had to be applied in the game rules-wise somehow.
Right.
So the Paladin class, like on Stranger Things, we have that character, is it Mike is the main character in that? You're talking about he's the
Yeah.
Paladin, right?
Right.
Well, in D&D, the Paladin gets pluses to attacking evil creatures.
right.
Right? So what about an orc baby?
Right.
The game design. They say that orcs, we see those from like the Lord of the Rings movies.
They're
inherently evil. I mean, they're just evil no matter what. Kind of like the scorpion who rides on the tiger and the leg is going to sting you no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
So is it okay, like going back and killing Hitler's baby as a baby?
Right.
Yeah.
The Star
Your
Wars
favorite.
prequels when it kills all the
The young ones.
yeah.
Take them
that
out.
was a little sad.
Yeah. That was very sad.
So where's that moral line? Is it evil to be killing these babies
and
just
the
because
children.
the mechanics give you a plus?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess I'm throwing some spoiler here, but you should have seen it by now. It's in episode 2 of Stranger Things season 2. Mike the Paladin comes across a baby, the Dema baby, and his immediate instinct
Kill the baby.
kill that baby
Because he gets pluses.
Because he gets pluses because he's a paladin. I didn't hook onto
He's to
that.
smite evil on that side.
So, and I mean, like you were saying, Tolkien kind of like works his way around that because he doesn't have.
He
them-
never featured orc babies in his books or his
Even in the
movies.
movie, they come out of that little sack.
Yeah, they're
thing, all
vats.
ground, all
Yeah.
like
full grown. Yeah, so you don't feel bad about killing that. Yeah,
No.
you want to be a
He
minute older.
briefly
about
mentions
son.
in his notes
That
that,
guy
he
killed
thought
Boromir.
about
Fuck that
how
guy.
to address it.
That's
But he
interesting.
just decided not to go that direction because it thematically didn't fit what the story he was trying
So
to tell.
are there no orc babies then if they just come out of a vat?
Well, in Tolkien there isn't, but in D&D there's the character. You have different races you can play, like human, dwarf, elf.
Right.
One of them is the half orc.
Yeah.
So
I know
clearly
there's-
that half orc had to be born somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I know
that,
there's,
by its definition, has a lot of like gray hair. Like, well, how'd you
So
get to
if
be a
it's,
half
if
orc?
it's okay
Your
to kill an orc
mom or
baby,
dad?
is it half okay to kill a half orc or? I don't know.
Yeah. So where does that line
It's only
go?
half-
Okay, so if you took that orc baby and you flipped it over and looked at the nutrition chart on the back and the ingredients and such, where does evil fall? And
Like
what's the percentage?
probably where sodium
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, so it's like 8%? I don't
It'd
know
be
what
like
this
100 is what they're saying with the orcs. They're like, no matter
all
what
evil?
you do
Yeah,
with
it's
this
all-
orc,
What if
it's going to
it's
start.
a-
Well,
Like
yeah.
it's going to kill the
Born
cat.
of-
Yeah.
It's going to
half
become
orc.
the new popular we're seeing for like Dungeons and Dragons and all those is because, unlike in video games, the moral dilemmas have been removed. In D&D, we still have to wonder if we can kill that orc baby. We have the
Right.
conversation around the table. No, dude, you can't kill the orc baby. I'm going to do it because I get a plus. Right? Those things will happen, but in like Call of Duty or when you're just like blasting, blasting,
Yeah,
blasting,
you just
blasting,
hover
points,
the icon
Right.
over it if you
Morality's
can interact
gone,
with
even
it
if
or
you are
not.
just killing the Nazis, you're really just getting your points for that side of the team.
Yeah, I remember
There's no
in the
dilemmas in
90s, the X-Men show, the only thing they showed them killing were like
robots.
the robot people.
There
Right,
you go.
right.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or GI Joe, whenever like the jet planes would explode, that immediately you'd see the guy like
Yeah.
parachuting
Same with
out of it.
episode 1. That's one of the reasons you see him just hacking
They
all
only had
these.
robots, yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah, yeah,
Kill
yeah.
robots.
They could
Well,
just
and
use
also
lightsabers
kinda,
that just cauterizes the wound right away, no bleeding.
Yeah, I mean,
That
also
makes
kind of why they
sense.
killed stormtroopers at first, though, was because they had no faces.
Yeah,
We
they were
never
faceless.
knew- We didn't know who
The
stormtroopers
faceless-
The
were.
Cylon, the original Cylons.
The
of
faceless
Battlestar
others you
Galactica,
can
all
just
those-
take out in mass. 'cause
Right.
it
What was it?
doesn't-
What did he say in Guardians of the Galaxy? I think of them as paper people, and it was just basically to let you know, as an audience, you're not supposed to feel bad about the heroes mowing through them. It's fine.
But there's totally they totally have families at home.
Yeah.
They totally there's definitely one that was like, is Daddy coming back? No, that Drax asshole killed him and all of his friends. You're never gonna have a fun birthday again.
I always thought that was really weird when Groot has that scene where he throws his arm through 50 of them, smashes them against both the walls, and then turns around to the camera just like.
It's,
So
it's,
And it's
it's fun.
It's kind of fun,
Yeah.
movie for your kids.
He's just having
Murderous
fun.
doll.
He's just having fun.
Yeah, it's true. Well, they were going to try to kill him, so I don't know. It's weird that morality gets thrown that way. You're talking about characters and characters that get killed off. What was your question? You had a question about.
Oh, on the morality thing, yeah. So how familiar are you guys with Harry Potter?
Like a bunch.
Okay, cool.
I had a bunch of girlfriends that were super into it.
Ask him. I was never allowed to watch it as a kid, so.
Well, I recommend reading it first then, because it's just so much better. All right, so it's been going around Facebook and such. It's like 9 people who died in Harry Potter in the universe there. Who would you bring back? And would morality play into your decision?
Serious, obviously. Dude got a bad rap. He got locked up.
Right.
With
Yeah,
the
then he
mentors for all that
and
time.
He just got
So-
out and then
just got
sacrificed
out.
himself
Yeah.
to-
Yeah. Well, but what about Fred? Fred's dead.
Nah, he's
he
got
didn't
a
have
twin.
chance.
He's
Yeah,
got
we already got one of
another
him.
one.
Okay.
He already
All
had-
right.
yeah.
All right. What about Tonks and Lupin, who are they got a new kid?
That's true.
Granted,
That's
Lupin is a
true.
werewolf. Maybe that taints the quality of life he could have from
Yeah,
now on.
so I guess
But,
Tonks
like,
over
Tonks,
Lupin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Does the fact that we like Sirius make it okay?
Well, that's the thing. Is it okay to weigh your passion for the character over the morality of the youngest should get more life, or the person who had most fruitful future.
How long do house elves live? Like if you would have,
That's
if you
true.
killed
Dobby
Dobby,
might have lived a
could
long
he
ass
lived
time.
for like 300 years or whatever. This is a recent trend of celebrities becoming discovered as being human garbage, I guess, for lack of a better term. Is anybody that you has not been outed that you kind of in the back of your mind would like, you know what, I would kind of like to see everybody else realize that Bryan Singer, maybe for example, I've heard that a lot on Facebook, is actually a D-bag, and that maybe it's time for everybody else to get to know about it. Is there somebody that you think probably is a terrible person that you're not going to be surprised if they're revealed? Or is there somebody that you kind of secretly would hope, even though there's nothing backing it up, like, you know?
Well, from everything I hear about you read and hear about Hollywood, it's like I don't think I'd be surprised if every single one of them are like some kind of scumbag.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem to be a meritocracy.
Think of it.
It seems to be a you go through that labyrinth of success by favors, you know. And I don't. To me, it's like we would have a lot different actors, or other people would have had longevity.
Yeah,
instead.
that's true. Yeah, like,
but they're like, hey, where's those great actors from the '80s that rocked? Oh,
we would
they
have
weren't
like Jimmy
blowing
Stewart
anybody
the
anymore.
third in because like he had good morale. Who knows at this
I want
point?
to see Ron Jeremy get busted, and it'd be this weird thing of
Yeah.
like he masturbated in front of people, but it was not on set. So
exactly.
we don't
I
know.
thought, you know what? I think that'd be funnier if Ron Jeremy was the only good guy.
like shame on all of
He
them.
used to be
Yeah.
a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah,
is what
no,
I heard.
that would be.
I know too
fucking-
much about
that.
Ron
Would be
Jeremy.
hilarious
I
if
don't
he
mean
was like,
to.
he was like, no, I just wanted people to have sex for like to
Yeah.
feel good. Like I'm not actually a creep. That would be amazing.
That would
you
be
know.
weird, yeah.
And
I
then-
personally think it would it's going to be like Angelina Jolie.
or Sarah
Somebody
McLachlan.
like, didn't she used to have bottles of blood that she would wear and like make out with her brother? You're like, we're gonna find out like who knows what weird
Well,
shit
yeah.
everybody's
dating
into.
the bad Santa. There's something
Yeah,
wrong.
that,
Yeah, bad- yeah.
There's
Billy
something
Bob
wrong.
is a not good person, but
Yeah, we were talking about earlier. I think it's gonna be like Bill Nye.
Yeah.
Who do you like?
somebody
expect?
completely would not expect.
Somebody
you know?
adored by like
Yeah.
Tom
Ooh, I
Hanks
use these
probably.
animal
would hurt.
pheromones to
That would
trap.
Every day that passes that it's not
Here's
Clooney,
how
I'm
you
like,
make
all right,
roofies.
nice. Go
Every day it's
Clooney.
not-
That it's not Clooney.
Oh yeah, you're
Because I'm
just
just
worried
like,
that it's
all right,
George
yeah,
Clooney.
you went to your
Yeah.
parties and shit, but like everything's
Yeah,
still good.
I bet he's
yeah.
probably, I bet he's probably okay.
Yes, he seems pretty open about all
He
that.
does. He's like, I think that's the thing too. Is like the issue is that we need to destigmatize like prostitution and stuff. These guys need another outlet. If they're going to be monsters, let's take their money. I guess is what I'm
Right.
saying.
Be realistic
because
about it.
Well, I
they
don't think
also need
seeing
a
a
sexual
prostitute
outlet.
makes
Yeah.
you a monster because you're being all like,
the
oh
John.
No, the dude,
Oh.
the dude. Like
Oh,
if Louis is like going to prostitutes and such, and they were like, that's normal, it's all good.
Yeah.
Then great. Then he's not going to be as tempted to do horrible things. Granted, he's still a garbage person for doing that. So it's like,
Yeah.
I
how do
think
you
that's
fix
gotta
it?
that's
Yeah.
gotta be part of it for him though, because I mean, like prostitution's illegal, but like you could get a prostitute.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that becomes the whole like lawful good, chaotic good
Back to that
kind of
argument.
thing. It's
Right.
like a lawful good person would never go to a prostitute because that's against the law. Where a chaotic good or neutral person would be all like, no, prostitutes are fine because I'm not raping anybody or hurting anyone.
Right.
It's my money.
It's a
I
sliding
think
scale.
prostitution should be part of your health insurance.
yeah, yeah.
If the most famous comedian in the world asked if they could masturbate in front of you, would you consider that asking for consent?
Well, asking is.
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
for consent
But the
by-
person
they
has
wait
such a
and-
powerful position.
Are you saying are they asking and then with the, I guess,
You know, maybe getting to
inferred
open for him or something.
and with it
Going
with
on
it
the road.
are
There's
we-
no direct inference of what they could do from you, but they're
Or
the most
to
powerful
you.
comedian in the world. Obviously, they're being in favor of you.
I
Them
mean, they're
being friends with
definitely
you is
being
going to
definitely being a little douchey.
right. They're
first
being
off.
a terrible person.
Being awful right now.
Sure, that's a really
Also, I don't know if I'd
awkward
want to
position.
go on the road with somebody. It's like this is gonna happen every night.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
watch this.
Dude, it's like I'm tired. I'm gonna sit and watch you jerk off again.
It's like, can I close my eyes? You can do whatever you want over there. It's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good
Yeah, what's
point.
my
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
out the door.
I mean, on a
Why can't they
but
just
here's
set
another-
him up with some chat
on a
roulette?
personal
here's
level.
another thing though that you were talking about though is it's like you keep on saying, oh, because he's so powerful, and yet he's still asking. It's like, yeah.
Well, the
so
question
is he
is
too
actually say powerful. It just
Okay.
says famous.
famous? But
Okay,
you keep
yeah.
on implying that there's
I'm
power
implying.
there.
There's definitely
that's an
power.
Does that mean he can never ask for consent now? It's like he has to have people only
He has
can
to ask somebody
him?
outside of his professional field for it
Oh,
to not have
okay.
Yeah.
influence
You
on
shouldn't-
it.
Or you set up a hidden camera, you get them, and then you're like, dude, now you're my agent.
Yeah.
You're gonna put out my special on your website.
But does the fact that he's asking to masturbate in front of them make it less moral? Like if he was asking, hey, can I have sex with you? Like, that doesn't seem as weird. Like one comedian ask another comedian if they wanted to have sex. That seems, is there less of a moral imposition than just saying, hey, can I masturbate in front of you?
I think it depends on like where you're at, like level wise.
And
Like
your sex
two
positivity.
comedians who like kind of know each other on the like a same level. Like
Right, two
yeah,
open micers
But
happen all the time.
If you're a big name comedian going to like a stagehand being like, go to a bedroom, that's a little weird.
Yeah, there's
it's
definitely
more about
Just
the
saying as
context.
as a fellow comic. Like
Right.
they don't really have a power over your, but there's the implied power over your career. Louis should have been hitting on somebody his own size.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. By the way, we're talking about Louis
Yeah,
C.K.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, Louis should have been hitting on someone his own size or
Like power wise.
Let's
Yeah.
wrap this up on, because we have to come to a conclusion on the chat section here. We are comedians. We've been talking about comedy, dickbag comedians. God, so many of them fucking disappointing. You know, I was just talking about this. George Carlin, I think, was the de facto leader of comedy for a while. And Alex is saying maybe we've even moved past the point where we don't even need a leader anymore. It's
Yeah,
sort
we're just
of-
an anarchist group now.
Yeah.
Comedy is just everybody's their own hero.
Even with YouTube, it's like I think people control a lot of their own direction now.
Yeah.
There's the gatekeepers of media traditionally are gone. People can make their own paths through that angle, and so there won't really be a king because there's not going to be all these people that
But I wanna know,
worship
but
that
there's-
one area.
Is there somebody you can look up to?
Well, there's also, if
it's
you want to
too
angle
much
it a little
music.
differently, there's this really good Klosterman quote about like, in 200 years when rock and roll is totally dead, who will be the band that represents it? Is it like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones? If it just like rock and roll becomes a footnote,
Right.
who does it boil down to?
Probably
and
the
it sounds like
Beatles.
that's what you're saying for like,
Yeah, yeah.
right now, who's that comedian?
Is there a 21st century comedian that this, like, if you would boil down to the early part of the 21st century, who is the zenith comedian that you'd want to be remembered for the annals of time?
I
Is
mean,
there a-
until the day, it was Louis.
Louis, yeah.
It was
It was
Louis.
Louis or Dave. It was either CK or Chappelle.
Yeah.
that
Chappelle's
was-
already gotten in some trouble with
Yeah,
the
and
transgender
Chappelle's
jokes
kind
and
of
stuff.
like, he's
So-
kind of like come in and out
and
of
he's
it.
kind of
Like,
he goes in
shouldn't-
and out, and he left on his own terms.
Yeah.
But
Like, I would
and
definitely
come
say
back in on his
Ellen.
own
I mean,
terms.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
That's an easy
That's a
answer.
good point. Yeah, that's.
But
yeah.
she's kind of like a talk show host.
Yeah,
now.
she's been
kind
a
of
she's been a
gone,
talk
you
show
know.
host.
You can't
for
say
like
she's not
15
doing
years.
well
She
for
has a
herself.
Netflix
Right.
show coming soon.
Yeah, and she still does comedy. She's still
Possibly Tig
directly
Notaro, I guess. if
Tig
you-
maybe, except
What
for
about
I
like
mean,
Robin Williams? Like
Well, okay, yeah, just because
more scandal could come out, but
Yeah.
essentially like he ended on a real downer.
Well,
but,
Yeah, and also people
And he also
thought
didn't
he
do
stole
stand-up for
material.
Well, yeah,
That's
he
true.
did. He did steal a lot of material, but one thing that was good about Robin Williams was he was if it was even slightly suggested that he stole material, he was
Right.
making so much money in the '80s that they could just write. There was like a long-standing joke
okay.
for the longest time that if you were short on money,
Yeah.
you just went to a Robin Williams set and said, "Hey, he stole my material," and then his agent would just throw you a check because it was easier to just throw money away than it was to try to.
I read there was
dispute these
I think of
claims.
him
He
as
felt
a
like he was
better
always
actor
on,
than
so he
comedian,
always had to have
honestly.
material.
Yeah.
So
I think the
ran
kingdom's
out
like
and said,
falling
pull out.
apart now. We just got the 7 kingdoms.
Conan
going on.
O'Brien.
We got like the kings of like all
Yeah.
comedy,
it's all-
kings
yeah.
of
Yeah, it depends on-
traditional
Do we have
comedy.
to do
you got-
stand-up comics? Can we just do
Yeah,
people
Conan's
that are
a good
good
one.
writers? Just like
Yeah,
Conan.
I don't know,
Conan's a
because
great
see, there's a
writer
different,
and
there's a
host, I don't know.
difference, there's a different.
I think stand-up's got to be the
skill.
big
It's a
thing.
different- yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes such a difficult conversation to have. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have like, yeah, I don't know. There's Gaffigan, there's Mulaney, there's like people who are still doing well. I feel like if you can
Right.
pass
Yeah, you
that
just-
like 2
everyone's
killer specials,
doing
you're
well.
in an elite group already.
Truth tellers.
So-
I think more than
We're
anything,
gonna
I'm
be
glad
the
that we
truth
got some
tellers we
names
still
out
respect.
there. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
Sorry, I didn't want to overtalk you either. For the comedians, it's going to be the truth tellers.
Right.
Like, which ones are we still going to respect hearing truth from them?
Yeah.
Because even in Louis' stuff, his specials were full of truth. That's why people were
Yeah.
attracted to them because of
It's-
that.
it's-
That doesn't. I mean, now we're all right. We don't want to hear the truth from you anymore. So who are we going to now listen? And it's going to be those groups.
Well, then what was that
I
other?
think Trevor Noah is really great.
Trevor Noah is really good.
I think,
Michael Che is really good
I think
too.
Michael
W.
Che is
Camille
really
Bell
good.
is
Yeah,
Trevor
dude,
Noah's
he's fucking
not
awesome.
good.
Like,
but
Michael Che, yeah, his
Michael
special
Che
was awesome.
is-
Man,
I
Michael
watched it
Che,
like
I
10
can't
times.
believe he left the Daily Show right before they were going to give. I don't know. I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that they were going to give him the Daily Show, and he left to go to the SNL beforehand.
Trevor Noah was also super huge in South Africa. It's like he
Right.
was selling out arenas over
Well,
there.
and
too.
he has
tell
such a
jokes,
fascinating story.
He's got a good story. He's a good guy. He's a decent host.
But
I mean,
but I think the big advantage of Trevor Noah is he can tell jokes that so many, like Americans, like an entire, as Americans, we
Right?
can't tell that joke.
Yeah, he has it from a totally different outsider perspective. He's all like, "Why are you offended by this? This is a weird thing." I've come from a place where it's all like,
So you can give
it's
a different-
way, not only
Yeah,
way
yeah.
worse, but totally different.
And he can completely
And
question everything.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
great. It's really fascinating. And I've read a lot of his books, and it's like he kind of deconstructs a lot of our weird philosophies here in America and like why.
I almost think like he's been boiled in the wrong juices, though. Like he's like it's this really contemptuous political environment, and he has to be super politically correct. And it's like he's like formed as a comedian in this cauldron. And I think whereas like Jon Stewart formed his own persona, and then that fit in with this environment, and then he adapted and worked on it. Whereas Trevor Noah, it feels like he's being born out of it, and it's just like.
Well, I think the
it's
political
almost
environment
too
he had
much.
to come from is nothing like that our comics here can experience. You know,
Yeah.
No one here is going to understand apartheid and those kind of
Personal terms.
I think as he
has
further
a
develops,
different-
he'll get better. Though. Welcome back. We're going to play a little bit of game here. We're going to ask ourselves some questions. We're going to go back and forth. We're going to do kind of a debate version of Scruples. So I got my first question. I'm going to ask this side. You guys decide how you want to answer, and then you guys have to answer the rebuttal. So, okay, we got some Blade Runner 2 just came out recently, so slightly Blade Runner inspired question here. Cool. You guys are wandering through the desert. You find a tortoise, and it's laying on its back, helplessly flailing in the desert heat. It's dying. You go to flip it over, but then you realize, psychically, somehow you just know, this turtle is the reincarnation of Hitler. The worst person you could imagine. Maybe even worse than Hitler. You just know that this tortoise is being punished for its reincarnation. Do you take it upon yourself to circumvent the will of God, perhaps, and flip that turtle over to its feet and accept your own personal moral narrative? Or do you accept that internal feeling of knowing that that turtle is intrinsically evil and leave it on its back as it was deemed to be?
I'm thinking we turn it over because the faster that turtle dies, the better chance of that soul, the Hitler soul,
Going back
coming
to hell?
back
Going
as
somewhere
a
else.
human.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep Hitler turtly.
Keep him
As
slow?
long as
Oh, I see
possible,
what you're
yeah.
saying. Yeah, sure.
All right.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
All right, so you guys with that? Okay, so all right, guys, you see a turtle on the
flip him
desert.
over
You know
because
for sure that
fucking
turtle
care,
is
whatever.
intrinsically
Flip,
evil.
flip.
Yet,
Whatever.
yet you feel impelled to flip it over, but your sense of evil in this turtle prevents you
remember
from
any
flipping it
Hitler
over.
turtles in-
Why?
How long have we been in this desert to where we think this is Hitler and a tortoise? Like,
You ate some cactus.
Right.
Specified cactus.
Well, I think clearly we have to eat the tortoise
Yeah,
so that
and
we
gain
can gain
Oh.
its
yeah,
Gain
and
his
then
strength.
finish Hitler's
Flight
job.
sport.
So this is not exactly a yes or no answer here, but
Well, they
so you're going to
definitely.
eat the turtle to tortoise
knowledge
to
and
gain its
powers
knowledge and power,
to finish his job.
so you can become a better painter, right?
Go back to art school and do a little bit better.
All right, next question. I ask you guys first. You guys are the cumulatively, you represent one person who is the best man at a wedding, integral. You've been to rehearsal. You're expected to be there at the wedding. You wake up the morning of the wedding, severe, crippling diarrhea, gas on top of it, so you don't know when it's going to sprout out, right? But you can't tell anybody about it. You can't fess up to it. You can't say that you're sick. So you have two choices. Do you, A, completely skive off, completely flake, and leave them with a high and dry with no idea why you didn't show up? Or do you show up with the tummy grumbling gamble farts and try to make it all the way through the procession? And a wrinkle on this one, you own that tux. That is yours. So
Got me
yeah. The question of the rental did I
Well,
could feel it. I could feel it coming.
Do we need? You want to confirm on this,
Well,
or
I just want this is why I have a cardboard cutout of myself for every occasion. So
oh, that's smart.
wise.
but in case that this is a scenario that I don't have one,
I'm going.
I say
would be
we
going.
shit ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can will that away if I have to.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the heart of a romantic.
The show must
I can
go
blame
on.
it on someone else.
Yeah.
The
mhm.
farts
I
start
go to your
coming.
wedding,
Yeah.
bro. I guess.
Yeah.
I got the
No.
shit.
I mean,
Yeah, we
gotta
definitely
come
go.
with us now.
Good.
Yeah,
for you.
we
Okay,
go.
guys.
I'm keeping our obligation. I made a promise.
I made exactly.
Respectable.
Thank you.
That's the correct
my
answer.
pants.
Now you
Yeah.
guys are going to represent the wrong answer. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Okay, now you guys heard the pre-qualifications. You can't do the noble thing and call people up and let them know that your tummy is bothering you. You just have to straight up flake. Your friend shows up. You are already frozen in this choice. You've already made it. Your friend shows up a week later, asks you to justify it.
I mean, obviously we're on the side of like we're not going to the wedding.
Correct? You guys just
So-
flaked.
I'm thinking we just get busy making new friends. Hit up those diarrhea
married
chat
now
boards.
anyway.
Find ourselves
Right.
some new friends. Yeah.
Am I an alcoholic? Because I think like if I brought this on myself and my buddy knew that I had this issue,
Okay,
then if I
yeah.
could like a week later
Okay,
be like,
we'll
you know
see.
what, I hit rock bottom that day and I just
That was the day.
It was terrible, and so I didn't have the heart to tell you, but I'm getting help now, and you just turned that into a better situation.
do
Like
the
now
I'm going
he's
to
like
rehab thing?
proud of you for missing his wedding. Like,
Here's my
yeah.
first token.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
The shame excuse is always a good one. If you
Yeah.
call it like, the people always want to tell the best of themselves, and so they're like, "Oh, I couldn't make it because my grandma was super sick, and I had to move a water heater and repair a truck." Right?
Yeah.
That all sounds like bullshit. But
I
when you're
can
all
live
like,
with a baby.
"I
Hit
couldn't
the-
make it because it turns out I'm a fall down drunk and I shit myself and had to go home to get new underwear," no one will call you out on that one. They'll be like, "Yeah,
If you're that sad, should, like just carry underwears with you. I mean,
yeah,
like,
maybe."
oh, I'm gonna have an episode.
Oh,
It's a good
dude,
thing I
they
got
have adult
backup
diapers.
me undies.
Like they have.
Yeah.
They have Depends.
If you're going that route, you definitely. If you're pooping your pants and you're planning that out ahead of time,
yeah.
seek help. All right, third question. You guys ready? Mm-hmm. All right, you guys are driving down the road. You see a horrific accident. You drive up, you notice that the car is familiar. As you come closer, you realize that it's your wife's car. You feel an obligation to run over and help because not only is that your wife, you are a doctor. You have a Hippocratic oath to go over there and help the situation. But when you arrive, you realize that it's not just her wife. It's also the man that you have long suspected to be her lover. And she's clearly on a clandestine rendezvous with him in the middle of having an affair. Now, you notice that his injuries are savable. You could probably keep this person from dying. Your wife, not a chance. Her injuries, not a chance of saving them whatsoever. She's going to die. Now, your Hippocratic oath impels you that you must try to save one of those two people. Do you try to save your wife, who you know almost certain this is a futile effort? Or do you try to save her lover, to whom you hate with a passion?
I say save the lover, right? No.
No.
Wife, man.
Wife?
Or try
But
to
she's
save
gonna
the
die
wife.
anyway.
You're
Well,
not
she
going to
might
save the
die.
wife.
She's likely, but like he's gonna last longer. He's gonna lay there and bleed out for hours. Somebody else can come help him. This is my wife. That guy.
Yeah, but like.
But no, you're right,
She's
Hippocratic.
bleeding out anyways. I say like.
You want to pick that one?
All right, Nick,
Yeah, I'd
break
go with
the argument.
Yeah, I'd say save him.
Save him?
Save,
Okay.
We're going to save
Because she's
the...
done. I mean, you'll have time to talk to her and say like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
no,
Okay,
no,
so
no, no.
before I get to you guys, do you guys feel that that's the morally upstanding answer?
Yes.
Do you feel more correct in that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Save the guy that you can save, and the wife is just like, hey, I love you, but like you're dick, but not you're dead anyways. Bye bye.
Okay, I guess a third thing we're throwing in here. Did that play in part of your decision, knowing that your wife had
Was
just,
gonna die?
committed infidelity on you? Does that make it easier to not save her?
Oh, no.
I mean,
I wouldn't
not
really think about it. No.
It's been
Okay.
like your whole life.
I think if
this
we're being
woman.
honest, the person that you love, your wife, you're gonna forgive of infidelity.
Yeah.
That means they're gonna.
And it's all happening in the moment.
Like, I
So
want
your,
a divorce,
so
but
your
I love
answer
you.
is purely benevolent, being a healer. You're going to heal the person that you can because you can.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you hate this guy like with a passion because your wife thing, but he might not even know who you are.
Right.
He didn't do anything
Yeah, that's
on
true.
purpose.
You're not 100% sure. Maybe he doesn't
We're
know.
just hanging out.
Maybe
There's
that's
a
right.
lot of chocolates.
Guys, same
blankets and
scenario,
stuff,
but
yeah.
for some reason you guys feel compelled to save your wife. You're in the same situation. You know that it's most likely futile. You're not going to be able to save her but you bypass the injured man knowing that you could save him and go directly to save your injured wife. You are pulled up to a review board afterwards, and they ask you specifically, why did you bypass the man that you could save and go to save the person that you didn't think that you could save? It was clearly obvious as a medical professional that you didn't have a chance of doing anything about. What do you say to justify yourself?
So now it becomes us because like our profession is being questioned.
Your profession is being questioned because you
If I
didn't
mess
do the right
up trying
thing.
to save that guy,
Right?
he sues me. My wife, she probably won't sue me.
Right.
Probably won't
okay.
seem, and she'll really.
And I don't need my
she'll-
premiums
she'll
going up as a
appreciate
doctor.
it. I
That
think
insurance is expensive.
All right. So you're saying fiscally it was the responsible thing to do, is what you're going to say to the review board?
It wasn't the moral thing to do, but it was the ethical thing to do.
Really
okay.
worked
All
out.
right. So this is a true story. Let's see if I can turn this into a moral question. My friend is a doctor who works at an emergency room. So he saves people's lives all the time. Great person, right? He also comes across really bizarro things that human beings do to themselves that sometimes he has to come in and take care of. One time he had a college freshman come in with $350 rolled into a nice, tight wad and rectally inserted. And it was he couldn't remove it for himself, so he had to go to the doctor. And
Like in bills or nickels?
just random roundup bills. So again, it was a thick stack. So you're talking ones and fives in there, all sorts of just different wonders.
Sounds like that doctor's in it. They're getting a good.
Well, the thing that he asked was, he's like, do you have the cash to pay for the copay? Never mind. No. You're not allowed to. But the guy, his intern who was with him, the doctor who was showing him how, the intern asks the question, what the hell was going on? Why would that guy have that much money shoved up his rectum? And it could be all sorts of, it could just say anything.
To hide
Let's
it,
just
like-
say the specifics is, you've seen something that maybe not, this doesn't flip your switch, but it's just something that you find completely disgusting. Like maybe you're like, hey, he's got money up his butt. Whatever.
Like
this
the money's
makes, no,
sweaty
this
now,
makes more
right?
sense to me. It sounds like somebody was like, "Hey, where's my money?" And they like tore his apartment apart, and he was just like,
So the question is, do you want to know why they did this horrible thing to themselves?
Yeah, I do.
Are you curious?
Oh yeah,
of
yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I would still not judge.
You would still not, so you'd want to know.
Yeah,
But
because
you
it would be
wouldn't
like
judge?
that, you know, what you said before. It's like, it's not my thing, but doesn't mean it's not someone else's thing. It's
"I'm going to
Well, they're
reserve my
hiding
judgment
something.
until you tell me."
Because
what
I
was."
mean, it could
So,
also.
so no, that's your
just
answer. That's a
logically
perfectly
affect
acceptable answer. So
Part of how
um,
you deal with them and help with.
on the
help
flip
them
side,
is
you
with
guys
it.
are the
You have to
intern.
know
You
that-
turn to the doctor in this instance and you say, dear God, like there's another story that I heard from where a guy had broken off the plastic tines from a fork and inserted them into his penis. Right? And so he turned around, the intern turned around to the doctor and said, you're the intern of the situation. You turn around to the doctor and say, why on earth would somebody want to do that? And the doctor turns to you and says, never ask that question. Because the worst thing that could possibly happen is they give you an answer that makes sense.
Yeah. I
So-
can see where that
Yeah. That makes sense.
So other than that, now that I've given you the answer, shit, that does kind of ruin that. But okay, well, what's your justification? You're the doctor. You're saying to the intern, what's your justification for why you don't want to know?
Yeah, this could turn into like a number 23 thing. Like, oh, I can't get fucking putting toothpicks in my penis out of my brain. I have to do it.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you're going to almost the ring thing. It's
That's-
going to infect you
It's
if
gonna
you know what it
infect-
is.
Yeah, it might infect you.
If,
You might
that's,
escape
if we're living in that world, yeah, I don't want to know either.
Ben
might get
Rose is
the
all like,
fever.
"Wow, that sounds like a good idea." And when you put it like that, toothpicks in your penis, it does that
never
for
thought
you.
about
I
it
didn't
like
know
that.
it made your orgasms better.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, it turns out like it makes your orgasms like off the charts 10 times more powerful than
Same
they'd
reason
ever
I don't do
like-
meth.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
It gives you super strength, but you lose all your teeth.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all the time we have done for today. We had so much to talk about, but we ended up going over already, so we're going to have to cut this all up anyway. But this is great. This is what I like to hear. Tip to stern, nothing but talking. I want you guys to write in. I'm going to flash up on the screen right here. This is where you can write to. If you guys want to ask us questions, the next theme that we're going to film for next time is we're going to do automatons, androids, robots. Questions of those, ethical questions, questions about what you would do with one, or whatever you can think of, or just whatever you have you want to write us, go ahead. What would you do with the robot, Robert?
have a happier life.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we have all sorts of things that we could talk about with that, but that was our panel for this evening. Let's go down the line here. Big round of applause at home or here for Robert Gresham. Robert, where can we see you at? What do we know about you?
I'll be at the Waypost November 22nd or 21st. Sorry.
Awesome,
and,
that should be in time.
My gaming company, Wayward Rogues Publishing, we just put out a new science fiction game supplement, so that's available now wherever you buy your games. At
What's
Guardian
the game
Games.
supplement called?
It's Future Races, keeping it super simple. Just some aliens for your science fiction game.
Oh, cool. So it just works with like a GURP system or just...
It's mainly for the Die 20 system, Pathfinder.
Oh, cool.
3.5 Dungeons and Dragons.
So it's
world's most popular rule set.
Pathfinder for the future, though?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, Alex. Other than the laugh till you die, which we all know about already, we're still going to put it up on the screen, though.
Okay.
What else you got going on?
Next week, Thursday, November 16th, I'm going to be meeting with my attorney about some accident that I got in not too long ago. But then later, that's at 11 p.m. You won't be able to see me there, but later that evening, I'll be opening for Quincy Jones at the Siren Theater. So on the same day, Thursday, November 16th. Big day.
Big day. Lots of things happening.
Yeah, so I'll be opening for Quincy Jones at the Siren Theater. That should be a great show. And I'll be all around town doing. I'm a hot button person right now. So.
and humble. All right. Big round of applause for me, Tristian. Also humble.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get applause.
Oh, yeah.
I don't fucking
Nick, Puente, you're going to co-opt that with that applause that I just had. We owned that together.
Yeah, we got it together.
Yay!
That was
Where can we see you, Nick? We didn't hear much from you on the panel chat tonight. What happened?
I got lost in all the deep thoughts that was going on.
He's just polite. He just didn't want to talk over everybody.
The in-depth, eye-opening discussion.
So we want to hear more from you, Nick. Where can we see you?
I'm doing the Ramblin' On comedy show on the 16th as well.
Cool.
Mine's at 9 at Ramblin' On Vintage. And then the 25th, I'll be in Eugene for Not From Around Here showcase. And in the meantime, the 14th and 15th, I'll be in Seattle. Anywhere and everywhere there. We got some comics coming in from San Antonio and Austin. And so we're all doing it up there together. And that's what's going on.
Big round of applause for Ben Rose.
Ben Rose.
Where can we see you?
I got shows coming up. I'll post about it on Facebook and stuff, so you can just follow me there and find out, because I don't memorize dates well.
Yeah. All right. So after Ben talked to me via email the day after, he told me about these things.
Yeah.
These are things that
he's doing.
that he told me about.
It's
good. Okay, give a big round of applause for Daniel Dagris. You can applaud yourself. It's okay. We've already mentioned that he is one of the co-hosts and one of the producers of Wait, What? The comedy quiz show. What else have you got going on?
Otherwise, I'm writing a zombie novel, and I'm.
Does this zombie novel have a name? Oh my God, we don't know what the name is yet.
I really hope it'll be in the footnotes of this video eventually. I'll totally be like, this is where it all started.
You're gonna be obligated to it.
Absolutely,
There's a funny story where Neil Gaiman said that he was gonna write a book about American gods. And so the publisher made just like 3 years ahead of time before he finished the book, just made a picture of lightning striking a tree and then wrote American Gods. And then Neil Gaiman was like, all right, I guess.
Let's do it then.
I guess that's my book. So all right, you tell me. And then you'll be obligated. You'll have to have that be
absolutely
your title.
Yeah, and the next time I'm performing is just headlining at Carter's Mic on Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Nice. Right on. Yeah, we're hoping to have Carter here on one of our shows. He's a good friend of ours in the local community.
Very funny guy.
All right, that was our show. Thank you very much for coming. Big round of applause for Big Town Hero. All right, so does everybody feel satisfied?
That was fun, yeah.
Glenn! God!
Close.
Shit. Glenn! I'll put your name on text twice, Glenn.